I took down a couple of like my favorite quotes from the opening chapter, and I would
Yeah,
love to
yeah.
just read them back to you, and then you give me whatever you think. And if you want to throw something back at me, I'm open for that as well. But
Mhm.
I'll just start with the first one. So this one that I have is reality can shape you, or you can shape reality. Only one is freeing, yet both are empowering.
I love that because that was the one that I knew would twist people's brains. Like, how are they both empowering to be shaped by reality? And, the more empowering thought you would think is that I shape my reality. But to be shaped by reality, how could that be empowering? And I talk about this later in the book about specifically God isn't something that we shape. It's something that shapes us. And when we encounter God, it demands that we change to receive unconditional love. And because there's stuff in us that resists it. And so that's what I mean is it's one of the most empowering things that I've ever felt is to be shaped by God, more so than trying to shape my reality. And that's what I mean by that quote.
Beautiful. The next one is while reading, be sure to avoid right and wrong thinking. It's not right or wrong, it's just different. Yet, what's right for one person may be wrong for another. And at the same time, we all need the same things. Judgment is the enemy of self awareness.
The enemy, quote unquote, to this whole game that I bring people through in the book of consciousness is judgment. Seeing something as right and wrong, that consciousness is what gets to go. Play a game, drop it all idea of what you think is right, and just have the courage to see in a new perspective. Mm-hmm.
I think for a lot of people, like right and wrong can be a very challenging thing to deal with or let go of in either sense.
Totally.
I'm curious, like from your perspective, somebody might be like, oh, well, if I give up right or wrong, what if I start doing these bad or harmful things, or these other people start doing these things where I allow these things to happen to me because I don't see it from that consciousness anymore?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is your wisdom, your advice, your thought, or question for those people?
You can still have morals, right? The consciousness of judgment is really what I'm talking about. And you can still get wrong of the consciousness of judgment and say no to things,
Hmm.
right? Like it doesn't make you spineless and just accepting of everything. That's not what I'm talking about. Um, I'm, but that consciousness grips because it lives it lives tiptoeing on reality. If I do this, then I'm good.
Hmm.
And that's a condition,
Yeah.
right? And so judgment creates this hierarchical ladder we have to climb to be enough.
Hmm.
And I talk about worthiness in the book. Like that's such an irrelevant conversation. You're worthy because you're worthy. Stop trying to think that you're worthy or feel worthy or achieve to be worthy or prove that you're worthy. Just stop focusing on yourself.
Hmm.
And all of a sudden, you become the most worthy person because you're humble, right? And so that's that's really what I mean. But yeah, like more self awareness is going to be supportive, and also more awareness of your perspectives is going to be supportive. The judgment of it, though, just like I was talking about before, it locks you in your life. So if you love your life, stay where you're at. But what we're combating here is your own self-righteousness or your own. You have to put down the need to be right,
Right.
right? And the healthiest way to hold your truth, which is another thing I talk about in the book, is your truth. The healthiest way to hold it is by saying, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Like that's the healthiest way to hold a stance on something. Because otherwise, you're on attack or you're on defense constantly in your life.
Yeah.
I don't want to live like that.
Yeah, and it's like like to your point, like around idols earlier, it's almost like you turn whatever your own internalized sense of morality is into like that pedestal, that idol, right? That or the sense of being
Yep.
good. Like I'm a good person and because I do these things, and if I let go of this, well then I risk like not being that. But if I'm so attached
Right.
to this identity or how people perceive me in this viewpoint or in this particular culture or whatever, then it does keep us frozen or trapped.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Next one is strong is the mind that can see multiple perspectives. Stronger is the mind that can see them all and know they are true simultaneously. Real strength is in discernment of the truth without distorting it with your preferences.
Again, your preferences, your need to be right, the right and wrong thinking. Don't distort. Can you see it neutrally? And that's kind of a ladder. Like the step number one is seeing different angles,
Mm-hmm.
not just seeing what you see. Step two is fully seeing the come from on all angles. And I learned this in relationship coaching, right? Like if you have to honor and respect the other person's perspective or awareness or their come from. If you can't see that, you're not going to be able to love them deeply because you only see your perspective. So you're going to try to get them to conform, or you're going to butt heads, or you can say, "Oh, they're just different," and that's okay, right? And when it comes to spiritual navigation of your life, discernment is really important. Of just because and I talk about this later in the book, just because something's true doesn't mean it's the truth. There's layers to truth. And so in navigating a lot of life, just because it's appealing and it seems true is great, but it may not be the truth. And there can be a lot of distortion, right? It could be a half truth. It could provide some liberation or some freedom, some support, some benefit, but then down the road, you're enslaved to it. Think about any addiction. Right? You take the substance the first time and you feel great, and then you keep needing it and needing it and needing it and needing it. Well, then that isn't the truth, obviously, because look at where you're at. It was true that it supported you with whatever the heck was going on when you first took it. Like pain pills, anything, right? So layers to it. It's just really, yeah.
Cool. The last one I have here is your insecurities will bind you to the truth. Your opinions will numb you from experiencing freedom. And your beliefs create the chains of your reality.
Locks you into that reality, right? So what you believe to be true, you will subconsciously prove yourself right. And that's scientific. Your reticular activating system in your brain will look for evidence to prove yourself right, to get a dopamine hit. And then you become a slave to that belief, even if it's not what you want, and even if it's not even true. We're wired to prove ourselves right. And I think overcoming that is how you change your life, because you change the perspectives and associations with things.
Yeah. What does one do to unshackle themselves from said beliefs? I mean, there's so many people who talk about, mindset work or journaling or doing this thing or that thing, prayer, meditation. There's a million ways that people kind of talk about doing this, but like, I know maybe it's more for you personally. What have you found has been like, the most powerful in actually being able to unshackle those beliefs and then maybe not find new ones to just cling to and
that happens too. Yeah. A few things. That's a really great question. Number one, maybe. The word maybe. Sprinkle it all over your life. If you want to change your life, maybe this is helpful for me. Maybe this is what I still think. Maybe. Let go of the definites. And the nervous system that's dysregulated is going to reach for certainty, even in stuff that's not true. If somebody says something with certainty, and it makes sense in the moment, you're going to believe it. Cool. Oh, that must be true, because you're dysregulated and you're looking for safety. But instead of grasping for certainty, grasp for trust. And that's why I talk about God so much, because you can only trust to the level that you know you're loved. You can't trust something that you know doesn't love you. And the more you trust someone is because you know they love you that much, like a lot. So it's like, you know what, I actually do trust your opinion or whatever it is. And so the opposite of uncertainty and dysregulation is not certainty. That's a truth, not the truth. In my own lived experience, it's trust. And not necessarily just trusting in myself and trusting in the universe, even though I've done those things, trusting in God, that there is an orchestrator to it all, and he has my best interest. And building in that relationship, then I knew that I was more loved. I specifically, Kevin, was more loved, and I could actually lean back and start trusting. And that then gave me the ability to be in the messy middle with my beliefs and let go of something without clinging on to the next thing or clinging on to the opposite of what I used to think, because that's not freedom either. Right? But
Right.
to go, I don't know, and to sit in that quote unquote uncomfort. If you've relied on your beliefs and your identity for so long, it's extremely uncomfortable for the ego to not rest on what it used to rest on, and to not get solidity and a false sense of comfort with some false pseudo truth that was fabricating your reality. It's a deconstruction of your reality to see differently, and ultimately to play a different game. There's a line in the book that's like, if you want to play a different game, you change your truth. If you want to, I'm butchering it in my own quote. Go figure. I haven't get to read this book again. Dang, what was this? It's like, if you want to play a different game or live a different reality, you change your beliefs. But if you want to change the game altogether, you unplug from the matrix. Right? So there can be change within your reality. You can change one belief and you can have a different value, and you can go to the gym and you can start eating better and you can see some change. I'm talking about unplugging from the matrix, which is not leaning on those things to create an identity at all. And it's just hard for the ego to grasp that I'm everything and nothing at the exact same time, and I can be whatever I want to be. But that's the most empowering place to start from.